Hey everybody, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We have got a brand new show for you, jam-packed with all sorts of stuff, both hunting and fishing. We're going to start by doing a little bow hunting over in the Thumb. You're going to want to see that story. Gabe and Jordan are bringing us that. Then we're going to head to northern Michigan, do a little trout fishing up there, and we're going to hit Lake Bair with the guy who caught a state record muskie. Only we're going to be doing some smallmouth fishing instead of muskie fishing. Well, actually a little bit of both. You won't want to miss that. Lots of good stuff on this week's show, so you stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's the love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Meijer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meijer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meijer. By G5 Outdoors, makers of the Quest and Prime bows. Manufactured and designed in Memphis, Michigan, G5 offers archery bows, broadheads, and accessories. On the web at g5outdoors.com. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
Hi, I'm Jordan Brown, and we kick off this week's show with the first leg of a new series where we're going to take you on a bunch of different bow hunts all over Michigan. Now, some of these bow hunts are going to be on public land, some of these bow hunts are going to be on private land, but the main goal of each segment is to highlight what the deer hunting is like in that region. So, that being said, we kick things off in the Thumb in Sanilac County.
We're in east of Sandusky, about 5 miles, 2 miles outside of Carsville, Michigan. Our little abode hunting camp, about 120 acres, just Sanilac County. I mean, there's deer everywhere, farmers, lots to eat. The deer stay around. They don't, other than the farmers shooting some deer, but we always see deer. Everybody around here sees deer. I mean, it's really no matter where you hunt in the Thumb, if you're not seeing deer on every hunt, you're hunting in the wrong spot. My dad first bought this property 20 years ago. We'd see 120 deer a night. Really, in a bean field, I'd see 100 deer, 80 deer. Literally, you have to pan the field to count the deer with the binoculars, and then pan back to count them again because there were so many deer in the field. Now, the numbers are down. The block permits went up, which is fine. The farmers got to make a living too. But on that side of it, now the doe numbers are down and the buck numbers are up. I mean, we're seeing really almost 2 to 1 now, if not better than that. So yeah, it's gone from having almost too many deer to the right ratio in our area anyway. I mean, you'll see maybe in the hunt tonight or tomorrow that the numbers, if you see more bucks than does, I will not be surprised.
After a tour of the property, Gabe and I quickly made our way into a tree on this windy October night for an evening hunt. We set up on a large bean field with lots of deer sign, hoping to get a shot at a mature doe.
Well, after quite a bit of work, we're in the tree. It's early October. We're on leg 1 of our hunting all over Michigan segments. We're here in the Thumb today on a beautiful piece of property. We're looking for the first doe that comes out. If we can get a shot at a nice mature doe, we're going to take it. We're just hoping to see some deer. It's really cool to be hunting a different area of the state. So I'm just looking forward to a fun night, and if we get lucky enough, we'll try to take a doe.
As Dave predicted, we started seeing young bucks right away. This area of the thumb has been heavily influenced by quality deer management, something Dave and his family have been doing for quite some time.
I'd say we're the ones in this area that basically started it here, okay, in this 5 square miles. Now we're to a point where our neighbors are now not shooting that 4 or 5 point because they know that 8 or 10 points around, with the advent of trail cameras and different things, you actually know what deer are in your property or around. So those guys are actually, they know they're there, we know they're there, so we pass up on that 5 point or 6 point because we know there's an 8 point around or a 10 point around. So we're really to a point where everybody around us is now not shooting smaller deer. And again, it's to each is what they want to do, but for us, you know, the kids, I mean, if they want to shoot something smaller, go right ahead. We're to a point now, again, where it's what makes you excited. I mean, I've had a couple 8 points in this fall already during bow season that, you know what, I seen them, it was fun watching them. The work starts after you shoot it. It didn't excite me, I didn't shoot them, because I know there's a couple 10 points around that, you know, once they're shot, maybe these 8 points will excite me a little more, who knows.
Well, so far, I really, really like hunting in the thumb. We've been in the stand for probably a little over an hour. We've got a deer to our left. We've got a couple of small bucks down here and a couple of does. We saw a small buck right as soon as we got in the tree. We've probably seen 10 or 15 deer already. We're just hoping one of these does comes close enough. We'll see, it's gonna be a nice night.
With about a half hour of good camera light left, we finally had a doe work her way within bow range. We waited patiently, hoping she would close the gap to give us an easier shot. But with light fading, it looked like she wasn't going to make it any closer, and at 35 yards, I decided to take the shot. Well, at this point, I wasn't sure what had happened. The shot felt good, but I wasn't able to see where the arrow ended up. But one quick look back at the footage showed me everything I needed to know.
Well, we just looked at the footage and not sure what else to say, but hunting is hunting. I thought I made a perfect shot on this doe. She's about 34 yards. Wanted her to come a little closer, but it was getting pretty dark, and I shot and I released what I thought was a perfect arrow, and I thought it buried right in her chest. When we looked back at the footage, and I missed her, and she did duck it by ways. I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but you look at where my arrow, you know, if she would have stayed still, hit, and it's right in the money maker. But she ducked it pretty bad. I don't know what else to say. You know, usually when they're that calm, she'd been feeding out in front of us for 20 minutes. They don't usually duck it quite that bad, but for whatever reason, she must have been on edge.
After reviewing the footage a few more times, I noticed something else pretty interesting. With my arrow at what appears to be almost 3/4 of the way to her, this deer hadn't moved a muscle, and in 7/100ths of a second, she was able to duck almost an entire foot. It just goes to show you how fast they can move when they need to. A miss is a miss, and I certainly wasn't happy about this one, but it was nice to have the footage to go back to see exactly what had happened. We hunted a few more times and saw plenty of deer, but never had another doe within bow range. Special thanks to Dave and his family for letting us hunt for a few days and teaching us a little more about hunting in the thumb. Make sure to stay tuned over the next few weeks as we continue to explore bow hunting throughout Michigan. Well, we never did notch a tag on our thumb hunt, but it was still a fun couple of days of hunting on a great piece of deer hunting property. For our next story, we switch gears and we head north to the Boyne City area for a day of fly fishing for brook trout in one of the most scenic areas I've ever fished in.
Hi, my name is Brian Kosminski with True North Trout Guide Service. We're in northern Michigan. Beautiful fall day. There's a lot of guys that would rather be out getting the salmon bite this time of the day, but we look around and we love going out for the little brook trout. We're up in the upper stretches of the Jordan River. The headwaters are vast, and you can fish different sections of the river all at the same time, and probably never ever completely fish all of this river in a lifetime because there's so many different braided sections.
Today the plan was to spend most of our time fishing near beaver dams. These dams provide excellent habitat for trout throughout the year, and although too many of them can cause problems, for the most part, they really help the trout population and can make for some great fishing.
Beaver dams provide shelter for the fish. They also provide some depth of cover from aerial predation, the cranes, some of the eagles in the area. They also provide them, there's a balance. How many are a good number to how many are a bad number of beavers / beaver dams, how many are active and how many are inactive, when should we take them out. In the summertime, when the river's at its lowest and we're seeing drought situations, these beaver dams provide areas of refuge for the fish, where otherwise the river, where it would normally be 2 feet deep, is only a foot deep. So now they have some place to go and actually be safe.
After a slow start, we did manage to get a few brookies to come out and play. And all the work that it took to get back into this spot was well worth the reward, fishing for brook trout in one of the more scenic areas I've ever fished in.
There's been a series of beaver dams through here, so there's a lot of little beaver trails and cuttings. And at any moment you could step into a beaver run or hole. This isn't for the average angler because 8-inch fish, even though glorious and beautiful, can be a little bit of a workout. You ready?
Yeah.
Yes. Dark and colorful.
Well, really, it's about where it's at for me. I mean, northern Michigan's got a special place in my heart. The waters up here, I mean, there's such cold and beautiful waters, and the colors in the fall, I mean, it's just ideal conditions to be out and chasing brook trout, and there's no more beautiful fish anywheres, I think, in Michigan than the brook trout. Fly fishing's got a very rich history in Michigan, and really all throughout the Midwest and into the West. And you know, to be able to come into this kind of environment, it's tight, it's tough, very challenging cast, but we have a lot of fun doing it. And you're going to be in the trees, you're going to be in the bushes a little bit, but that's part of the game, and it makes those little 5 and 6 inch jewels a real reward.
The scenery today was pretty hard to beat, and it certainly felt like an area you might find north of the bridge instead of an hour south of it. The fishing wasn't too bad either. Although we hadn't caught anything big per se, we caught several fish in the 7 to 9 inch range. But for these two anglers, it's not about size or quantity when it comes to brook trout. There's something else that keeps them coming back for more.
The saying goes, brook trout live in beautiful places. It can't be any more true than with brook trout. We're up here and we're surrounded by all this natural beauty. The trees are changing, and the brook trout have these magnificent little red dots with these blue halos and the orange bellies, and they have white fins with a little bit of orange on them. And it becomes a true match of wit between the angler and the fish, because it's only a 7-inch fish. The brain is the size of a pea, and we're trying to figure out what he was or what he was feeding on, and we're in little shallow water and we're watching to see what happens. It becomes the ultimate crossword when we want to figure it all out and we get the whole puzzle together. Every time we go out, we're getting little pieces more and more, and it's a fun fish to catch because they usually play, and it doesn't matter. Right now we're throwing Chernobyl ants, and it's September, and they're hitting hoppers and ants, caddisflies, rubber leg stimulators, skunks, whatever. It doesn't matter. They just like to have fun, and they're a fun fish. They're a great fish to get kids introduced to trout fishing, especially fly fishing. no, you're not going to catch a monster. We're not in Canada where you can catch a 20-inch brook trout, but an 8-inch brookie on a stream like this is amazing fish. So much lighter. So aggressive. That is the other key thing about it though. The take, the visual, seeing the fish hit at the top of the surface with your fly. The angler loves that's the pinnacle of the sport. We love seeing the fish take your fly right at the top. Kind of seals the deal. The reason why we do what we do. It's so much fun.
Well, it's hard to beat dry fly fishing for brook trout in the fall in northern Michigan. We ended up landing about a dozen brookies in just a couple of hours and soaked in some incredible scenery along the way. Special thanks to Kaz and Eric for letting me tag along on a beautiful day here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, this time of year here in Michigan, obviously there is a lot of good hunting. There's a lot of good fishing. It's hard for us to try to pick which kind of stories we're going to do here at Michigan Out of Doors. We try to have a balance with a lot of hunting and a lot of fishing since there's people that really enjoy both. But when I got a call from Joe Seeberger, who was the guy that caught the state record muskie on Lake Bair, and they said they were going to be going back up there to do some smallmouth fishing, and who knows, maybe even a big muskie would make their way onto the boat, I had to jump at the chance. Last week found me in a great spot, northern Michigan, on a cool fall afternoon. Today I would be joining an annual fish camp that hits lots of lakes in the area, but tonight we were going to be on Lake Bair. Brothers Joe and Chuck Seeberger were taking me out and showing me what they think is a pretty darn good spot to catch some big smallies, and they should know. They've been fishing up this way for well over a decade.
Looking for a place that had some potential for state record smallmouth. So we figured, we did some research, came up here, fished a classic tournament. We chose this chain of lakes as one of the lakes to do, and caught some nice fish during that tournament. So we've been coming up now for about 13 years since then. There's a nice big flat in front of the Grass River, and then there's a nice drop off that runs 500 yards, maybe even 800, all along that side, and it goes from about 4 feet, and it'll drop down to about 60. So it's a good structure for smallmouth, walleyes. You know, we caught a walleye today, and the occasional muskie.
Hey,
That's a Bel Air smallie right there, son.
that is a toad.
That's a good one.
Whoa, look at how thick he is.
Yeah, look at that belly.
Nice fish. Yeah, hold him on the side. Oh, yeah.
Our first fish, well, it was over 5 pounds. A nice way to start. Chuck was on fire off the get-go, and Joe, well, let's just say he was doing a good job on the net.
Look at that. Boy, the back of the boat is coming through.
There are many trips that we take that are based around good hunting or good fishing locations. This trip was based around one big fish and one big story. You see, Joe caught the state record muskie right here just a year or so back.
I was fortunate enough a couple of years ago to catch the state record muskie out of this lake, 58 inches, 58 pounds, while we were smallmouth fishing. Same thing we're doing tonight with the minnow and no leader. Got a lucky hook set, and my cigar line held true for 2 hours, 8-pound test, and I hooked it. My brother Chuck, he was with us when I hooked into it, and then Jason Orbeck was in the boat. And Hooked it. They saw it first. They were screaming like a couple little girls in the back of the boat when they first saw it. Giant muskie, giant muskie. And I saw it swim up along the side of the boat, and then it came out of the water, and I thought, there it goes. I figured my line was going to snap. But then my reel started screaming, and the fight was on. So about a half hour into it, I told the guys, I'm like, somebody Google the state record, because we didn't know what the state record was at the time for a muskie. You know, we did smallmouth. So they got on, Googled the state record. It's caught by, previous one was Kyle Anderson, right here. He caught that in Torch Lake. Got that information. So we measured off 50 inches in the back of the boat. We said if it was over 50, we'll take it in, get it weighed. If it's under 50, we'll just take a picture, let it go. So we didn't have muskie nets or anything, so our first attempt, we went to net it. We had 2 bass nets, one over the head, one over the tail, pulled it up, both the nets snapped. And I thought, again, the line was going to break, but it held. Fish took off, went crazy. So we said, okay, what do the muskies guys do? We've seen them on TV with the cradles. So we said, well, let's try to make a cradle out of life jackets. Did that, got the fish by the boat, couldn't get him under. The life jackets under the fish, it went crazy, took off again. So in desperation, we pulled out one of our dock ropes, made a lasso. Jason and Chuck wanted a third helper to help pull it in, so Derek Barnes jumped in from another boat into my boat, got the fish by the boat, slipped the lasso over the head, tightened it, and then the 3 of them pulled it in the boat. And then when we put it in the back of the boat on our 50-inch mark, pretty much the whole head just went right over that 50-inch mark. So we came here and went to Captain's Choice Marine, where we would get our minnows from every year. Don Lash takes care of us every year, and took it there, and that was history from there.
I can only imagine what it must have been like to be targeting nice big 4 and 5 pound smallies and then have a 58-pound muskie in the line. It had to be pretty crazy, to say the least. But our night of fishing was not done yet, and we just kept finding the fish. Really, the guys say that a lot of the chain of lakes up this way offer some great fishing opportunities.
We fish elk in Skegamog, both Great Lakes, Torch Lake. Good fish in Torch. They're a little harder to find due to the size of Torch, but when you get into them on Torch, they're good. Clam Lake, I've never caught anything out of Clam Lake, so I stay away from clam, but everything else, Skegamog, elk, Torch, it's all great water. And that's one of the great reasons to come up here. You have so many options.
Fish camp is always more fun when you have lots of places to explore, but friends and family are always what it's really about.
Oh, it's nice, especially with my brothers, to get together and spend some time together. And you know, it's beautiful up here, especially this time of year with the leaves turning. A little late this year, but you know, it's just a beautiful place, quiet. And you know, as we saw today, we only saw one other boat besides the guys from our group out here today. So plus the lake's nice and quiet, so it's nice to just get away and relax up here.
Well, the dark clouds had parted and the sun poked out for our last hour or two. It was a welcome sight and we kept finding nice fish, but our last double of the day was one that we just had to end on.
Got a double on. Oh, he's a big fish. That's a big fish. Oh! Oh! What do you got over there, Joe? Oh!
They're coming up to eat.
Nice fish. That is a big.
That's a good double. There.
Nice job, boys. Woohoo!
As the sun set, we headed for the cabin. All 3 boats that we had on the lake tonight did well. And like most good camps, the camaraderie around the dinner table was just as important as the fishing. A good dinner was not far away, and the lies and stories, well, they just kept coming. No state records tonight, but we had a perfect Michigan night on good water. And really, it doesn't get much better than that here in Michigan's Out of Doors. Hey, thank you so much for watching Michigan Out of Doors this week. If you missed part of this week's show or maybe last week's show, you can always check us out online at MichiganOutofDoorsTV.com. We have full episodes of the show there every week. You can always see what we've been up to. And if you do the Facebook thing, we're on there pretty much every day or so, letting you know what's going on as we're traveling this great state, trying to bring you a brand new episode of Michigan Out of Doors every week of the year. Now, coming over the next few weeks, I don't really know exactly what we're going to be doing because we have a lot of cameras out doing a lot of things right now. Bow hunting, some salmon fishing, bird hunting, lots of stuff happening right now in the great state of Michigan. So make sure that you're joining us over the next couple of weeks right here on your PBS station, and make sure that you're getting out and enjoying this great time of the year here in the great state of Michigan.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Jay's Sporting Goods with locations in Clare and Gaylord. Jay's, serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971 with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jay's, on the web at jaysportinggoods.com. By Rosie Brothers. Located in Dryden, Michigan, Rosie Brothers has been serving Michigan for over 40 years. Specializing in outdoor needs, Rosie Brothers features Kubota tractors and equipment for use in farm, home, or commercial needs. On the web at rosiebrosinc.com. By Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. Closed captioning is brought to you by Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man.
Yeah, boys. Woohoo!
I am